What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of VR. Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, the #1 virtual reality show. What is going on, everybody? This is a very important episode because today I'm going to be doing my review / first impressions of the time that I've had with the PlayStation VR2. In and out. Going through all the games, I've been streaming a lot of the gameplay. I did a lot of product shots, testing out the hardware, had time, throughout the years with a lot of other VR headsets to compare it to, including the original PSVR1, and really taking the time to enjoy VR games with the PlayStation VR2, along with other functionality, cinematic mode, whatever. So let's get right into it. I'm not going to bore you with specs. You can find that out on the internet. You can find that out anywhere. We all know about the special features of the PlayStation VR2. It is leaps and bounds compared to the VR1. It is leaps and bounds compared to the Quest 2, which is one of the best headsets, in my opinion, as far as convenience. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, Sean, you're losing the wireless connectivity because it's not its own machine, whereas the Quest 2, you could just get up and go. You don't need it tethered to anything. That's true. But it's also way more powerful because you're using the power of the PlayStation 5 as opposed to a mobile-type processor in the unit. It's tethering off of the power of the PS5. So it really is apples and oranges. You're talking about a whole different type of experience, okay? So in its own right, it's a very powerful system. And that cord, I didn't even notice it was there. It's long enough. It's not even bothersome. Yes, you have to have it plugged into your PlayStation 5, but, for a game like Horizon Call of the Mountain, you would want that kind of power to take advantage of the specs in the PSVR2, which is feeding off the PS5. That's how that works. It's a different type of technology than, say, the MetaQuest or Oculus Quest 2. It's more like the Vive, So that's great. The earbuds, I'm not really impressed with, but that's free, including earbuds. I put on my own headset, a Turtle Beach headset, and it was rocking. I was ready to go. Some of the best games that I played were, of course, Thumper, which was my PlayStation VR1 game of all time. It's racking up there again with PSVR2. They did some tweaks. They did some, a little bit of a tech upgrade there to go along with the PSVR2. Really love Thumper. Great immersion. I played the demo during a podcast I was on for Call of the Mountain. Graphics were unbelievable. PS5-like graphics in a headset. You got those beautiful lenses in that headset. You got the head rumble. You got the eye tracking in Res Infinite, where I was able to launch rockets and shoot enemies with just using my eyes and my head. Unbelievable. Res Infinite, another fantastic experience. Pavlov, which is like a Call of Duty type multiplayer first-person shooter. Excellent on the headset. Fantastic. Great multiplayer. No latency. Really well done. Played, what was the other one that I played for a really long time? NFL game. Pro Error. Really cool. Really cool game. I enjoyed that quite a bit. A game called Awesome Asteroids, which is like asteroids but in VR. So the meteors like fly past you. Really cool. Really cool game. And Saints and Sinners and After the Fall zombie game. Really, really, really great game. I'm looking forward to playing Switchback VR next month in March. It's the follow-up to the Until Dawn spinoff, which was Rush of Blood, the roller coaster. And it's a haunted roller coaster ride, and you shoot stuff. And you could use your eyes. It uses the eye tracking and all that. So, a really, really good headset. Really amazing technology. You could say the launch is very similar to what you already had in previous headsets. If you're coming into VR for the first time, that's not going to matter to you. And it's good to have all those carried over because you're going to be able to experience them like everybody else. With the future of first-party titles coming to the headset, hopefully more great experiences like Horizon, Call of the Mountain. But you're also getting that back support of the other headsets like the Quest and also some of the PS1 VR carried over. So as a new user, that's great. As an older user and user of other VR headsets, that's not so great. You're going to want more of a mix. You're going to want more new titles. Hopefully they're going to come soon. We just saw a state of play that showed the first half, showed quite a few VR games coming. So those, experiences, those exclusive experiences are going to help the headset without a doubt. But what's here is really well done. It's probably the best versions of those games out there. They're enhanced, they're kind of remastered, they're kind of, ready for the headset, tweaked. So they're going to be your best experiences even if you played them before. Such as After the Fall, Thumper, Pavlov, a Beat Saber's coming. But you're going to hope for more exclusivity and big titles coming, like we've seen through the years on the PSVR1. So support and future titles are always, a thing to think about. And being a day one beta tester, I call it, is going to have those worries and a lot of the problems we're going to get to in a minute. I call the elephant in the room. Other than that, I would say the experiences were very good. The immersion was great. Some people were complaining about blurry vision. I didn't have any of that. I did the aligning your eye in the circles and everything. I adjusted the headset correctly. That was a cinch. Compared to the PSVR 1, it's down to the headset and the one cable, and that's it. You sync the Sense controllers with the cable, and that's it. Done. As opposed to back in the day when you had the breakout box, you had so many cables that they actually had to label the cables. Cable 1, cable 2, cable 3. This is not that. It's the headset, one cable to the PSVR, PS5, and that's it. You got the nice controllers that fit really nice in your hand. You charge them up, and they're ready to go. Now, I have to address the problem that I had and later found out I was not alone. And again, this is day one purchaser, early adopter, right? But this still should not be a problem of somebody just buying a $600 headset. That's another thing, price. A lot of people are complaining about price. Oh, it's a very expensive headset. Yes, you're right, it is. It is expensive. It's not cheap. But when you compare it to other headsets in its class, it's actually the cheapest. Because when you compare it to like the Vive or other or other PC VR headsets, they're extremely expensive and way more. Plus, the PC setup to run VR is expensive. So when you combine the both of them together with the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation VR2, it's nowhere near. So that's another thing a lot of these reviewers do not compare. They just go, oh, it's a very expensive headset. Okay. But when you compare it to others in its class, it's not. It's actually competitive for the tech that's in there. So that's another thing to consider. But yeah, overall, it's expensive. The PlayStation 5 is expensive. You could say anything in this genre, in gaming in general, is expensive. Gaming back in the day was even more expensive. I was looking at an old flyer that had Super Nintendo games. I was looking at something back in 1994 that the Atari Jaguar was trying to come up with a VR headset that was going to be originally priced at $1,300. And it got scrapped. Because, as you know, the Atari Jaguar wasn't the biggest selling console in history. And there was no way they were going to market a $1,300 accessory for it. But it just goes to show you, where we've come. So I think it's pretty competitively priced, and you're only going to probably see that go down long term. Now, the elephant in the room, which is the big topping point of my review and impressions. I have a huge problem to this day with the controllers. Now, not everybody has this problem. Sony has not officially addressed it, but this is a big problem. There are many people with this problem. For one, big gaming outlets like IGN and GameSpot are talking about it. There are Reddit forums. There are instructions on how to temporarily fix it before an additional patch or an official patch. And it's amazing to me how something like this was not addressed or found in testing from the Sony team. It's mind-boggling that this got passed, that this is a problem. I can understand some nitpicky problems that you'll have as a day one purchaser, like problems I had with the Steam Deck and problems I had with PSVR1. This is such a major problem that this is absolutely incredible that this actually happened to this many people. That the controllers actually don't work in-game. That they're fully functional controllers, they sync, they work in the menus, but the analog sticks and certain buttons don't work with certain games. How in God's name did this get past quality control? Did this get past bug testing? Is fucking beyond me. And for them to be spiteful and not officially come out and say, hey, listen, is incredible to me. That every time when you want to play a game, you have to stick a pin in a hole to reset the controller for it to work. Or that you have to unplug, delete the controller from the system, plug it back in with the cable, reset it, and then it works in the game. Or go in the game first, then use the DualSense, then get into the game, and once you're in the game, then turn the controller on. No. It should just work. Or that day you put out a patch and say, listen, to the thousands and thousands of people, we're sorry. We were on crack that day. And we didn't test the control. Oh, we have to test the controllers? We didn't know we had to actually test them. And it's not just me, it's a lot of people. There are forums out there. So the first thing I noticed was with Thumper. And I'm writing the developer saying, something's up with your game. I can't even get into the menus. I have to use the DualSense. The controller in VR doesn't work. They're like, dude, Sean, it's not the game. It's the controller. So then I jumped to Horizon. Then I jumped to like Fantavision. Then I jumped to like VR cities. Then I jumped into NFL. And I'm like, dude, yeah, it's in every game. My my problem is the right analog stick don't work. Res Infinite, can't use the right analog stick. Thumper, can't use the right analog stick. And there's a part in Thumper where you have to turn and hold the X button at the same time when you're going around a bend. I kept dying, and I'm like, dude, I'm great at Thumper. I could go past levels in Thumper blindfolded. How come I keep dying? Come to find out, my analog stick wasn't working. Come to find out, I'm doing all this research, and it's like a lot of people are having this problem. And now again, you could say, well, you're a day one buyer. You're a beta tester. No. This is major. How many people I read on Twitter saying, I just bought a $600 headset. I took off work today. I can't even fucking play. No, that's not right. So yeah, I could fix it. I could get it to work. But you have to do that every time you start a game? No. Well, they have to acknowledge it, and they have to write a patch. Now, it could be something with the actual operating software. I was talking to a developer, and he says, I'm running on PlayStation 3.0 beta, and I don't have that problem. I'm running on a beta build. So apparently it's something that was addressed later on, and we're still on the same old build that us that aren't in the beta program, which is a lot of us, right? Some people have a problem with the triggers. Some have a problem with the X's, squares. Mine is the analog. Mine is the analog stick. And a lot of people's is with the sticks. You could go and find forums. There's ways around it. But sure, there's ways around it. But why do we have to go through that? And every single time we reboot a game. So like if I go into Thumper and I do the pinhole trick, Amazon, stop. And I do the pinhole trick, right? And I do the controller reset. Amazon, stop. I have to do the controller reset every time you start another game. So say if I jump from Thumper to Res Infinite to Pavlov or whatever, you got to redo the controller settings. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. So they got to fix that. That's unheard of, and that's unnecessary for people that paid to have something to work. Regardless if they paid $10 or $500, they paid. It should work, and regardless of they're a day one purchaser, no. A controller should work in the game. That's ridiculous. That this many people, and I'm not talking 5 or 10 or a few, I'm talking a lot of people. This has to be fixed. And it's a shame because other than that, it's a fantastic system. It's a great piece of tech, and it's a great piece of hardware. But until I give an actual official review and score, no, this has to be patched. This has to be fixed. I can't have a pin ready for a pinhole and reset a controller every time I want to play a game. And I spent another few $100s in all the launch titles. So, I'm losing my voice because I've been doing nothing but radio DJing and podcasts full time now and on Twitch. So, but yeah, it needs to be fixed. It needs to be addressed. Whether it's in the hardware, a controller update, a headset patch, or the actual operating system software in the PlayStation 5. It's not the games. It's on Sony. And until then, that's my review and impressions of the PlayStation VR. Excellent tech, excellent machine. I'm going to actually be playing in a little bit. And that's all I got to say about the PlayStation VR right now. They got to definitely fix that controller issue. Take care, guys. And I'll see you on the next episode of VR Beyond a Reasonable Doubt. Take care, guys.